No spoilers in here, you're completely safe. There was a lot riding on Deadpool and Wolverine to be good. After the year that Marvel had last year, plus the generally bumpy road post Endgame, they needed another big win. And was it a big win? I'll put it to you like this. When the film finished yesterday, I turned to my brother with the biggest stupid grin on my face and I said, forgive the language, that was fucking brilliant. Ryan Reynolds is still great as Deadpool, the quips, the fourth wall breaking meta humor, perfect for the character in every way. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Oh my god, this guy just has not missed a step. I heard going into this film that this was his best ever performance as Wolverine, which I thought was quite a bold thing to say considering Logan. But after watching the film, I find it hard to disagree. He really brings everything to this new performance as Wolverine in so many different ways. And the chemistry between the two of them is just everything that you've dreamed of. The back and forth, Deadpool pissing off Logan, Logan telling Wade to fuck off all the time. The fighting, the bickering, and the eventual, friendship that blossoms between them in that really weird kind of way. It's just absolutely glorious. And that's my one-word summary of Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just glorious. It's gleefully violent, very bloody, very gory. The opening credits establishes that very, very well. And it's really surprising that this is a Marvel Studios production under Disney, considering how violent it is, how rated R it is, how raunchy and rude it is with some of the jokes that Deadpool comes out with. And for my money, this is by far the funniest Marvel film ever made. Me and my brother were just in hysterics through the vast majority of this film. I will say, the quips and the jokes are thrown at you so fast that you start to forget some of them, even the really, really funny ones, because of just how many great one-liners and quips there are. But there are some really amazing nuggets of hilarity in there from Ryan Reynolds, from Hugh Jackman, from a lot of different characters. It's not just Ryan Reynolds doing the heavy lifting on the comedy front. And yes, like everybody is saying, there are some surprises and cameos in here which I will not spoil. I will say, I expected more cameos, given the discussion leading into the film. I thought they were just going to flood the film with so many appearances, but they really don't. There's Cassandra Nova's gang in The Void, which has a bunch of secondary or even third or fourth tier X-Men characters like Azazel and Lady Deathstrike from some of the old films, but they have no dialogue. They're just there to fight stuff. But the actual main cameos only use a handful of characters, which I was surprised and refreshed by. The cameos don't overstay their welcome, they don't overwhelm the film, and the characters they use actually move the plot along. They get Deadpool and Wolverine from point A to point B to point C. They serve a purpose in the story, which is how fan service and cameos should be used. And the characters they actually use, I'm not going to spoil it, but there were some I expected, some I did not. And my brother was with me, and I swear to God, he literally jumped out of his seat and cheered at one of these appearances. He said he would. It was on his hopes and dreams for the film that this certain character would appear. He appeared, and he actually marked out and popped like a lunatic in the cinema. It was quite a beautiful thing to witness. Not too dissimilar to when me and my other brother were watching Avengers Endgame opening day, and we were just out loud popping and just gasping at the entire third act. I've missed that feeling. But amazingly, at the centre of all of this beautiful wonderfulness is heart and compelling character arcs for Wade Wilson and Logan. Deadpool, Wade Wilson, he just wants to matter, he wants to mean something, he wants to be a world-saving hero, but he's not quite sure if he's set out to be like that. And Logan, it's a different Wolverine, by the way. It's not the same Wolverine from the Logan film. They established that at the very beginning in a very hilarious way. But what he did in his universe, he let his universe down. He just thinks he's a complete failure. He called him the worst Wolverine of the multiverse. And just seeing him carrying that guilt, but secretly wanting to be the hero that all the other Wolverines have been. Really, really good stuff. Some actual touching moments amidst all the chaos of the Deadpool Wolverine badassery, hilarity. And it just puts the film over even more as a great film about characters, as well as a really awesome and hilarious badass Deadpool and Wolverine film. Deadpool and Wolverine is the kick in the junk that Marvel needed in the best possible way. I think it's the best Deadpool film. The fourth wall break in the meta humor is the best it's been across all three films, and there's some really funny jokes at the expense of Marvel and Disney and the current state of the MCU. They don't shy away from that, which is amazing that they can just acknowledge that. Quick side note, by the way, the only MCU thing that my brother had seen prior to this film was Black Panther 1, and he followed this film perfectly fine with the whole TVA and the Void and Alith and whatnot, so you don't need a ton of MCU knowledge to watch and understand Deadpool and Wolverine. If anything, there's actually a lot more references to the old Fox Marvel films, And it's also kind of a tribute and love letter to those old Fox Marvel films in a surprisingly wholesome kind of way. I loved Deadpool Wolverine. It was an absolute blast from start to finish, relentlessly entertaining, hilarious, badass, fun, bloody, heartfelt, wholesome. It is definitely one of the best MCU films since Endgame. Pretty much everything I was hoping it would be.